All right. Are we ready to start the presentation? Okay, perfect. All right. Good morning, everyone. Again, today we'll be covering the NJ Build, which is Women and Minorities in Construction Trades grant program for fiscal year 2025, starting you off with some background about the Office of Apprenticeship and also about the current grant program. Oh, 1 second. Our mission, building the New Jersey Apprenticeship Network. The Office of Apprenticeship works closely with USDOL and serves as the one-stop shop for employers, nonprofits, secondary, and post-secondary institutions interested in developing apprenticeship opportunities. Supports new and expands on existing pre-apprenticeship and US, DOL registered apprenticeship programs in New Jersey, establishes pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs in non-traditional high-growth occupations and sectors, expands the New Jersey Apprenticeship Network to facilitate interactions between industry, educational institutions, training providers, and job seekers, better aligns secondary, post-secondary, adult education, and occupational training to meet labor demands unique to New Jersey and develop career pathways that lead to economically sustainable wages. Helps apprentices earn college credits, access robust career counseling, and increases diversity and inclusion in apprenticeship programs. Removes economic barriers to training and upskilling through targeted investments. New Jersey Apprenticeship Network. The vision of the New Jersey Apprenticeship Network is to develop sustainable talent pipelines by aligning pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs with the needs of employers, training providers, and job seekers. The New Jersey Apprenticeship Network is focused on driving economic development through skills and educational attainment, concentrating efforts on sector-focused, demand-driven training and education programs that lead to better paying careers, advanced credentials, and skills attainment, and developing an ecosystem that provides multiple years of economic support to businesses and individuals for occupational skills training, leading to sustainable wages and upward mobility for workers and increasing talent pipelines for employers. What is a registered apprenticeship? A registered apprenticeship program is approved by USDOL and is an industry-driven structured training program that allows an apprentice to earn while they learn. A minimum of 144 hours of related technical instruction, classroom training, and 2,000 hours of on-the-job or OJT learning are required for each year of the occupation. The complexity will dictate the length of the registered apprenticeship program, ranging from 1 to 5 years. Paid job. Earn as you learn with a guaranteed wage increase as you develop new skills. Credentials. Receive an industry-recognized and nationally portable credential. Education. Gain workplace-relevant skills in the field of your choice through on-the-job learning. Degree potential. Get academic credit toward a college degree for the skills you learn while avoiding student debt. Mentorship. Connect with mentors in your chosen industry. New Jersey Apprenticeship. By the numbers. Current figures. 9,230 active apprentices in the state. 1,421 total registered programs in the state. Since Governor Murphy took office, January 16th of 2018, New Jersey has registered 810 new registered apprenticeship programs, over 100% statewide increase, hired 20,510 new apprentices, issued 10,274 new industry-recognized certificates of completion, According to the data from the last quarter for 2017, total apprentices increased by approximately 2,447 from 6,783 apprentices. Statewide moving average that includes entrances and exits. This growth trend accounts for a 36% increase statewide in active registered apprentices. What is NJ Builder's Utilization Initiative for Labor Diversity, or what we call NJ Build? Funding for NJ Build is provided through the Annual Appropriations Act and PL 2009-313. NJ Build is designed to provide training opportunities for minorities and women in construction trades and construction-related trades so that minorities and women can realize equal employment opportunity in public contracting. All state agencies are required to pay 0.5% of the total cost of construction contracts that are equal or greater to $1 million to the NJ Build Fund immediately upon award of the contract. Program overview. The Women and Minorities in Construction Trades program seeks to eliminate economic barriers commonly associated with an individual's inability to invest in skills training and work readiness and connect women and/or minority populations to quality career and training opportunities in the building and construction industry. NJ Build aims to strengthen access to employment and training for women and minorities in the construction trades. Mission of Women and Minority in Construction Trades program. The mission is to promote outreach, occupational skills training, included but not limited to pre-apprenticeship training in the construction trades, registered apprenticeship, and on-the-job training for female and minority residents of New Jersey to prepare them for entry in a registered apprenticeship or long-term employment providing economic self-sufficiency in a construction-related job. Primary goals and objectives. Increase opportunities for women and minorities to acquire skills, increase employment opportunities, and benefit economically from construction infrastructure projects within New Jersey. Assist public works contractors, businesses, and trade unions in meeting their workforce needs through the recruiting and training of women and minority populations. Engage contractors in the development and provision of construction-related training. Provide workforce readiness and occupation-specific construction-related trades training. Ensure participants earn a minimum of one industry-valued credential. Assist participants with job placement and in construction-related jobs or registered apprenticeship programs with a pay rate of no less than $16 per hour. Expectations. To prepare women and minorities for placements in registered apprenticeship programs or long-term employment within the building and construction trades or in other roles in the construction industry, while providing quality support services to ensure their successful integration into the workforce. Funding must be used to provide training in the construction and building trades industry, including lead abatement occupations. Occupations within the construction and building trades industry, including craft, administrative support, or operational occupations, are acceptable. This includes professional titles as well as skilled trades. Green energy economy. NJDOL is committed to investing in the clean energy economy construction jobs. It is not mandatory that applicants concentrate on these occupations, but NJDOL encourages applications that focus on the following construction-related occupations. Green jobs, clean buildings decarbonization, offshore wind, energy efficiency, environmental infrastructure, grid infrastructure and storage, solar, weatherization occupations. Lead abatement. Lead-based paint and lead-contaminated water lines hazards burden New Jersey homes, schools, and places of business, causing sickness and poisoning across the country. In support of the need to remediate thousands of New Jersey's lead-burdened homes, apartments, and places of businesses, we are encouraging a concentration on training and placement into the lead abatement industry with our fiscal year 25 Women and Minorities in Construction grant program. Women and Minorities in Construction, pre-apprenticeship or pre-employment training. Training will be conducted to prepare women and minorities for entry into the construction industry. Training can include workforce readiness, occupational training, and job shadowing. Outcomes for placement. Option 1, minimum of 75% participants completing the pre-apprenticeship training enter a USDOL registered apprenticeship program. Option 2, minimum of 75% of participants completing the pre-apprenticeship training enter a USDOL registered apprenticeship program, and/or minimum of 75% of participants completing the pre-employment training enter into other construction-related employment. Option 3, no pre-apprenticeship or pre-employment training provided. Employer applies for the grant to hire and train new hires or new apprentices on the job. Pre-apprenticeship training, option 1 or option 2. Approved training and curriculum, strategies for long-term success, access to appropriate support services, one-stop connection, promote greater use of registered apprenticeship, meaningful hands-on training that does not displace paid employees, facilitated entry and/or articulation into an approved registered apprenticeship program. Applicants must have an established connection to at least one registered apprenticeship program or sponsor, if using this current model. Pre-employment training, option 2. Industry-driven training and curriculum. Provides job coaching and employment preparation. Access to appropriate support services, one-stop connection. Occupation-specific construction-related training. Hands-on training to simulate on-the-job circumstances and situations. Quality job placement and retention services post-placement. A strong application will have quality support and commitment letters from employers stating a specified number of participants they intend to hire from the program post-training. On-the-job training, option 3. Employer-driven to meet the needs of their business. Funding can be used to provide on-the-job training at a minimum of $16 per hour. Funding can be used to provide a 50% wage reimbursement to the employer. Reimbursement of the salary with proof of payment required monthly. The maximum cost per participant is $15,000. Commitment of retention of employee would be required post-funding. Must not displace existing employees. A strong application for this option will provide a detailed description of on-the-job training to be provided over timeline and detailed assurance of retention of participants, as well as comfort that the program will not displace existing employees. Deliverables. The following objectives have been established to achieve the goals of increasing opportunities for the employment of women and minorities in the construction industry and to address the building and construction industry's need for better prepared apprentices and employees. Number 1, to recruit participants through active marketing, recruitment, and outreach strategies. Number 2, to provide pre-employment or pre-apprenticeship training to prepare eligible participants for jobs within the construction industry. Number 3, to provide job coaching and employment preparation to women and minority individuals. Number 4, to assist with services targeting placement in a USDOL registered apprenticeship program or long-term employment in the construction industry paying no less than $16 per hour. And number 5, to obtain sustainable employment in any building and construction trades occupation or any ancillary occupations in the building and construction trades. Program outcomes. Ensure participants complete all components of the program in which they are enrolled. Graduate a minimum of 75% of program participants from the training program. Place a minimum of 75% of program participants into either a USDOL registered apprenticeship program or into employment within the construction industry with a starting wage of at least $16 per hour. Conduct follow-up for job retention post-placement. Ensure participants earn at least one industry-recognized credential. Assist participants with acquiring documents such as driver's license, state ID, birth certificate, etc. Case management, supportive services, and job coaching. Applicants are required to provide the following services: assessment of program participants to determine if additional support services are needed, On, ongoing case management services during the training period and after job placement. Each participant must obtain at least one industry-recognized credential, and job coaching and placement services linking participants to USDOL approved registered apprenticeship programs and/or employment in the construction industry. Grantees can include needs-based stipends in their budget to ensure participation. Stipend payments can be paid to the participants on a biweekly basis and cannot exceed $250 per week. Funding and contract information. Funding for fiscal year 2025, Round 1, is expected to be $2 million and is contingent upon availability of funds. Organizations awarded fiscal year 2024 Women and Minorities in Construction Trades are not eligible to apply for fiscal year 2025 Round 1 funding. The Round 2 application is open to those eligible organizations not funded in fiscal year 24, as well as new applicants.
I did just want to clarify that it's the round 1 application that we're talking about that's open to the eligible organizations. It's just a typo in the presentation.
Okay. Contract length will be 18 months. Competitive proposals will have a cost per participant with a maximum of $15,000. Funding from this grant announcement shall be used to support training in the construction and building trades. Any construction craft, administrative, support, and operational occupations are acceptable. This includes professional titles as well as skilled trades. Awarded applicants will have administrative responsibilities, including but not limited to archiving records, completing monthly reports, and attending required meetings. Application process. Proposal components. Required documents. All required information must be submitted in the IGX system. Applicant information, counties to serve, previous funding, consortium partners and commitment letters, deliverables, activity plan, statement of need, organizational commitment and capacity, training curriculum and schedule, program sustainability plan, tax clearance certificate, prior performance narrative, and budget summary and details. First steps. If you are considering applying, ensure you are an eligible entity to apply, which would be on pages 7 to 8 of the NGO. Authorized official, or AO, registers in IGX. That would be page 11 in the NGO. The AO submits a letter of intent via email, which is on pages 11 and 21. NJDOL approves AO in IGX and provides access to application. Obtain tax clearance certificate from the New Jersey Division of Taxation, pages 15 and 22, and register with New Jersey Department of Treasury via NJ Start, page 22. Template can be found on page 21, attachment 1 of the NGO, and this is the template for the letter of intent, which after you have registered in IGX can be sent over to us via email. In-depth look, proposal, activity plan, proposal to include max of 15 pages, specific objectives and training plan, timeline from recruitment to job placement or enrollment in a registered apprenticeship, detailed outreach and recruitment plans, post-placement follow-up, comprehensive program plan is strongly encouraged. The statement of need, maximum of 5 pages. Specify construction needs in region. Demonstrate need for placement and services for women and minority population. Projected number of apprenticeship opportunities, if applicable. Organizational commitment and capacity, maximum of 5 pages. Describe commitment to addressing the needs identified. Provide the organization support for implementing the project. Provide experience that will lead to the success of the project. Program sustainability plan, maximum of 5 pages. Describe strategy for long-term success in the absence of grant funding. Training curriculum and schedule. Curriculum outlining training components, including associated hours for completion of each component, should be based on industry standards with the goal of preparing participants to enter a registered apprenticeship or job paying minimally $16 per hour. Must be focused on basic skills instruction, workforce readiness instruction, and occupation-specific construction trades training, as well as provide recruitment strategies. And it should also include an attendance policy. Prior performance narrative, maximum of 10 pages. This is only required if you have received prior state funding for a similar program. Describe prior performance, including outcomes, effectiveness, and success in the meeting goals, in meeting goals and objectives of the grant. Evaluation criteria. All applications are considered new applications and will be evaluated based on quality, comprehensiveness, completeness, accuracy, and appropriateness to the NGO. This is a competitive process, and applications are reviewed by a selection committee using a pre-established set of requirements. IGX registration. For previous SAGE users, this was the system that we had used prior to IGX. Your username and password previously used in SAGE will be valid in IGX. You may be prompted to update your password the first time you log in. If you are a new user, when you access the IntelliGrants system, or IGX as we call it, you would click on this new user section to begin the registration process. And when you are filling out the new user, when you're filling out the new user registration, under please enter the program applying for, enter women and minorities in construction. When finished, click register to submit. IGX overview. Once your registration is approved, begin by logging in at the IntelliGrants webpage listed in the blue hyperlink. Under the My Opportunities box, click Filter to open the options for searching. For provider, select New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development from the drop-down menu. Under Name, type Women, then click the Search button. The Women and Minorities in Construction grant application will appear under My Opportunities. Click the hyperlink to start the application. Review the grant program description and agreement language. To proceed with the application, select Agree. Note, after agreeing, if at any time you need to leave and come back to work on the application pages, you can re-access your application by visiting the home page and selecting the application under My Tasks. Application pages and navigation. After selecting Agree, you will be brought to a landing page for your grant application. All the pages that need to be completed will be listed on the left-hand side of the page under Application. As you go through the application, you have the ability to navigate to different pages of the application by clicking the desired page on the left menu. Submit the application. Only the authorized official or agency administrator can submit a completed application. When you are ready to submit your application, use the navigation panel on the left side to find the section labeled Status Options. Select Application Submitted to begin the submission process. If a document validation page appears, this means there are errors that need to be corrected before the application can be submitted. Revisit the pages with errors and make the necessary revisions. Then try the submission process again. After selecting Application Submitted, a box will appear asking you to confirm that you would like to submit the application. Click OK to finish the submission. Click Cancel to exit. Important dates. Submission of letter of intent and registration in IGX must be completed before you can start your application in IGX. So the letter of intent is due by noon on November 1st, 2024. The application is due November 8th, 2024 at noon. Final decisions on awards will be completed to the applicant no later than 45 days following the panel review. NJ Build contact information. Jessica Richardson, the Chief of NJ Build and Special Initiatives. Email and phone number is listed below. Myself, Melinda Benson, who is the coordinator of NJ Build. My contact information is listed as well. And then we have a general mailbox, which goes to both Jessica and myself, which is the NJ Build programs at dol.nj.gov.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to get started. We got our first question in the chat. And this question, I'm sorry, just give me a minute. Just open my chat. the question is there a minimum number of total participants? Is there a, I'm sorry, is having trouble with the chat. Just give me a second here. I'm going to answer the question in the chat and then we can go over it. I can also unmute if you raise your hand and have any questions that you want to just ask in person. So
So it looks like did you want me to read the question in the chat and the
um,
response?
yeah, I was able to get it up now. I'm sorry, I was having trouble with the size. The question was, is there a minimum number of total participants? Is there a minimum percentage of participants who need to be registered into apprenticeships? And if a district has received a PACE grant funding within the last year, are they eligible? Okay, so while there is no minimum number of participants you can request in your grant application, there is a maximum of $15,000 per participant in the funding that may be requested. In the pre-apprenticeship model, there's an expectation for a 75% placement of participants either into a registered apprenticeship or into full-time employment with wages of $16 per hour or more. With regard to the PACE, whether you've had a PACE grant in the past year, I would just ask that you refer to the PACE requirements to determine whether there's any restrictions on eligibility to apply for NJ Build. And you're asking if you're awarded in program year 2023, if you're eligible. Yes, the restriction is if you received a grant with fiscal year 24 funding, so that would be July 1 of 2023 through June 30th of 2024. So if it falls within those parameters, I would think that would, because these are 18-month grant contracts, that would cover anyone from that who applied and received funding through round 1 or round 2 in the fiscal year 2024 cycle. And Cynthia, I'm going to try to allow your mic.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm having trouble with the chat. I had a few questions for the partnerships with the companies or the organizations. Do they have to be unionized companies, or is that okay if they're not?
I
Like if the construction companies that we would partner with to provide
provide the
the
training.
yeah,
You
would
know,
they have,
there's no restrictions on whether or not they're unionized or not.
and they have to be
And
New
they're
Jersey
encouraged.
based, right?
It's encouraged,
Okay.
but not required.
Did they have to be New Jersey based, correct?
The training has to be for New Jersey residents.
But the company, if they're like based, we're in South Jersey, so if they were based in Philly, yeah, the residents would be Jersey residents, but
right.
the
So that would be
organization.
I mean, the goal is for employment of New Jersey residents, ultimately. So the training and the placement is intended for participants who are residents of New Jersey.
Gotcha. And then my final question, I think for now, I'm already a user in Sage IGX. So once we submit our letter of intent, would I then have access to the application, or would you need that prior? Because I'm already a user, like how would I?
How would you there is a
Yeah,
requirement in order to apply to submit a letter of intent. And Melinda, as far as the process is concerned, once you receive the letter of intent, we check the registration in IGX
gotcha.
to ensure that you're able to register. And then a follow-up email is sent with that information.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And actually on the letter of intent, when you submit it, there is a specific section that speaks to needing to be registered in IGX. So you're attesting to being registered before you submit the LOI.
Okay, perfect. Yep,
Okay,
I'm definitely familiar with IGX, so thank you.
Great.
all right. Yes, and I think Adam had a question in the chat saying as long as 75% are placed in apprenticeships and or full-time employment, it doesn't matter how it's split. Right, so if you have some participants that go into long-term employment and some participants that go into registered apprenticeship, you just you put that in your grant application. The number that you anticipate will go into registered apprenticeship and the number that you anticipate will go into long-term employment. There is not a percentage in terms of a split beyond that. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? And I appreciate everyone working with us. This is our first time using the webinar format. These were previously done in a Teams meeting format that's no longer allowable. So I appreciate your patience with us. All right, and for anyone who missed the beginning, just to let you know, we will, oh, we have one more question here. But I'll just finish my thought. After this meeting, we will be sending out materials, which will include a copy of the NGO, a copy of the FAQs, a copy of this recording, as well as contacts for USDOL registered apprenticeship representatives, and a copy of the user guide, which will give you step-by-step instructions for completing your application in IGX. Institute for Learning has a question. I'm trying to allow your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my question was with respect to option 3. So employers or contractors that want to take advantage of the opportunity for on-the-job training, there's how does the I guess the marketing and the recruitment and the onboarding and all of that, how does that work with the budgeting, right? That doesn't go into salaries for the employees, but it would still be, is it a program cost or is it an administrative cost?
It depends on how you're outlining it. In the user guide and in the NGO, it does give some examples of what would be considered administrative costs.
Right.
So those, and those usually are organizational costs or employer costs for things like accounting, office products, those types
Yeah.
of things.
Right.
But in the OJT model, I believe it's mainly based on a percentage of the salary of the onboarded apprentice. It's like an apprentice model where you're bringing them into employment and paying a portion of their wages through the grant.
So grant funds would only be allowable for salary. Is it for 50 up to 50% of salary under option 3, or is there an opportunity for, I'm sorry?
No, I'm just thinking it through. I believe you can, in your grant application, describe the other costs, and it is a competitive process. So should it be awarded, anything that any budgeted costs that may not align with the grant program would be discussed. You may get like a partial award and then work through those additional costs if it's something that wouldn't be allowable through that model.
Okay,
So in other
right.
words, you can ask and see how that goes.
Okay, okay. All right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. Do we have any other questions? Okay. If not, I want to thank everyone for your time and I appreciate you signing up to learn more about the NJ Build program and about this notice of grant opportunity. And as a follow-up, we will be sending out these materials within the next 24 to 48 hours. All right, so thank you.
Thank you.